Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, we're going to be doing our daily transparency update as usual, and then in addition to that, as always, we'll be talking about Tesla stock and some of the pretty interesting movements back and forth today. We've had a pretty crazy day for Tesla stock so far, at least in my opinion, and even though most of the normal market hours and even most of the after hours, or some of it at least, have been in the red, we did see a pretty notable rebound in the after hours. In the after hours movement about 30 minutes to an hour ago was actually over the percentage drop for the normal market hours. But of course, as always, if you're new to the channel, transparency update just simply means I talk about the portfolio's gains or losses for every single stock market day, whether that's a red day or a huge green day. Either way, I like to have the transparency regardless of where the stock market's going, and then just give my thoughts about Tesla stock and its movements for that day. And another thing as well, gotta throw this out there, this is my 1-year anniversary for Robinhood. So I started investing on this Robinhood account on December 2nd, 2019, and we've actually been able to grow this portfolio pretty significantly over the past year. And Tesla wasn't my first investment. I put some money into VOO, I put some money into Apple, started to acquire Tesla stock. That was early 2020, right when it first hit $950 per share. I actually bought 2 shares at that peak price. And you can see this from this chart right here. This is all pre-split values that I'm referencing, but basically it hit like $950 almost per share around this peak right here. It dipped back down, went up near that price tag once again, and then we had the crash, and it actually took a pretty long ways for it to recover to that price tag once again. So basically I bought those shares around the time of like early February 4th. Those were my first Tesla share purchases, and I actually held it through this dip afterwards. I even held it through that second dip after, when it neared that $950 price tag again, and then it even went down to this low point. And I remember at one point pre-split it was at like $364 per share. I held it all the way through that tremendous dip, and I just had faith in this company long term. I knew it would eventually recover, and it did. And even though some people back then, I'm sure they thought I was crazy for buying Tesla stock at $950 per share, but I had faith in that investment. And even though there were times where most people that would have bought at that price, they would have likely doubted that purchase and probably panic sold either after this first dip or after this major crash after it hit that $950 price tag again. But like I said, I had faith in the company, I held through, and I actually even bought some more shares right when it was around that $600 price tag pre-split. I can't remember if it was somewhere in between here or if I purchased around that $600 price tag on its way down, but I did make some more purchases even when it dipped after I initially bought it at that $950 price tag pre-split. I continue to buy Tesla stock like right from here on until now, and I'm just more bullish than ever on this company. And now all of my other positions that I previously owned are pretty much liquidated to fund more purchases of Tesla stock, and I don't regret any of that whatsoever. So far it's turned out pretty well in my favor. But I just wanted to show that because that's like one of those primary examples of if you do your research on a company and you have faith in them long term, and if you have the discipline to not panic sell when others out there are questioning their investments, then that's where big opportunities can be found. And the crazy thing is that I've learned so much about the stock market since when I first started. My investing strategies have changed, and it's almost similar to how Tesla and SpaceX had those early struggles, but it seems like right now they're finally getting in their groove, but also effectively and efficiently executing on those decisions. And both of those companies are simply just more positive looking now than ever before, at least in my opinion. And when I think about it, there is kind of a similarity in like how much I've learned over this past year and how much I know now compared to when I first started. And that general idea in itself is kind of similar to me as to what SpaceX and Tesla has been able to do, especially over this past year, and how the positive outlook is just better than ever. So just taking a look at the portfolio, we are currently at a value of $233,384.40. And for today's normal market hours, we had a minus 3.03% drop. That was minus $7,074.81. And then in the after hours currently, we have a plus 3.04% gain, which is plus $6,884.83. So as you can see, we haven't necessarily gained every single bit that we lost today in the normal market hours, but in general, I'm just happy to see this rebound. And for those that are curious as to why we saw this notable movement in the after hours, I'm pretty sure a lot of this has to do with the recent price target upgrade by Goldman Sachs. And if we take a look at this over on the Street Insider, as it states, update, Goldman Sachs upgrades Tesla to buy price target to $780 on improved long-term sales outlook and margin expansion. And keep in mind, the big thing, not only with this just being a really notable price target at $780, but this is a $330 increase from their previous price target that was only released like around a month ago, I believe. So this is really huge news, and I'm going to be addressing this in a separate video because I really want to break this down and just talk about the change in the analyst mindset around Tesla in general. So this is really exciting, and it's one of the major reasons why I think we've seen such a huge movement in after hours. And so just addressing Tesla stock in general, with the time between now and S&P 500 inclusion, I even stated in previous videos that I thought the 30 days leading up to December 21st S&P 500 inclusion, I stated that it would be one of the craziest months of Tesla stock history, in my opinion. And we're certainly seeing this, not only with like a 40% run up over the past month, as you can see, plus 41.28%. Even aside from that, we're also seeing some volatility. And at least with volatility, it's not just a pure downward trend. It's not boring to say the least, and I'm sure there's a lot of day traders out there that are absolutely loving this. Keep in mind, though, I think more money can be made just simply by buying and holding long term. That's why that's my strategy. And I also just simply think it's much safer than day trading. But still, I'm sure there's a lot of traders out there that are loving this. And even as an investor, someone who holds shares, obviously a minus 3% day, that's not the greatest. But like I said, we have a plus 3% gain in after hours. That is subject to change. We don't know exactly where that movement can go tomorrow until it locks in at that 4 p.m. time. But still, in general, it's not boring. It's exciting to see what's happening with Tesla stock prior to this big mandatory purchase that is going to happen with S&P 500 inclusion on December 21st. So we're pretty much watching an unprecedented instance in history where no one knows what's going to happen, because this is going to be such a big purchase for the S&P 500, and that's because they've decided to wait so long, and Tesla has had its market cap continually increase even though it was refused to be added to the S&P 500 when it was initially eligible. So it's kind of a lesson to be taught for the S&P 500, but this is also just going to be one huge event in stock market history and finance history that I think will be looked back on. It's going to be one of those notable events that people will remember, in my opinion, wherever the stock goes. And another interesting thing about that is that this event will be a point of reference for future events in finance. It's just inevitable when Tesla is kind of used as that case example that we look back on. For example, like when we saw Tesla announce the stock split, we had a lot of stock market people referencing back on previous stock splits, like with Apple and others out there, and analyzing the run up before and after. And this is just going to be another situation that will be referenced in the future to try to predict other stock market events. So a lot of interesting things happening. This will go down in history as a pretty notable event, and it's pretty exciting that we're actually able to live through this and watch this happen, especially for those out there that just really have a lot of interest in the stock market, and for those that are really interested in just Tesla as a company. I'm honestly excited to see where the stock goes, and not even just between now and S&P 500 inclusion, but also what occurs after, whether there's going to be a big sell-off. In my personal opinion, I believe that there will be a sell-off. It's just a matter of how much that sell-off will be. But then again, one could say that the general consensus is that there will be a sell-off, and then because of that, you'll have some traders and investors trying to outsmart the other investors that are expecting a sell-off, and then that could somehow change the movement with the market prior to the sell-off, or prior to when they think there's going to be a sell-off, and then there might be a different outcome. So it could honestly go any way. A lot of what happens in the stock market is basically about human psychology. That's where really the long-term investors win, because you don't have to worry about the constant short-term movements, and it's just simply a lot easier to predict in the long term and say, I think this company will be successful and grow tremendously, rather than trying to make predictions on short-term things that can really go in many different directions and are far less predictable. I actually think it's just much more simple to be a long-term investor, and there's a lot of money to be made being a long-term investor. I think that's how investors are able to really amplify their gains, because not only can you take advantage of long-term capital gains tax, but you're also able to take advantage of that compound interest, which is so crucial to the long-term growth of a position. And that's something that you really don't see as much when someone is selling a position constantly and making trades back and forth, because then they have to owe that money on that purchase on taxes. Yet if you don't sell on a long-term position, then you basically take advantage of what would otherwise be used for part of that tax payment, and you can utilize that for your compound interest. So by not selling early, you prevent that taxable event, which can therefore a lot of times be used to increase that growth because of compound interest compounding on what otherwise, if you would have sold that position, would be a taxable part of those gains. But just to take a look at the rest of the time frames for my portfolio, since this is the 1-year anniversary, we are currently at plus 0.31% for the past week. That is plus $731.27. For the past month, we are currently up 40.92%. That is plus $67,728.86. For the past 3 months, we are currently up 39.72%. That is plus $66,313.84. And then finally, for the past year, we are currently up 127.24%, which is plus $130,608.75. So I've managed to more than double the portfolio in under a year, which I can't lie, I'm pretty proud of, because I know how this could have gone a much different direction. I could be sitting at plus 20%, plus 30% right now. And if I invested in some of those lower growth stocks, then this could be even at like plus around 10% right now. So I'm pretty proud with this growth so far. Yes, one can say, well, you just invested in Tesla stock, but you have to keep in mind that it takes a lot of risk tolerance and a lot of faith and conviction for someone to be able to put all of their life savings and all of their net worth in one company and have that conviction that it will perform well. And this is just a situation where I did my research, I had faith in the company, and it turned out well for me because I had confidence in the research that I did and all of the things that I know about this company and the future of this company. And there's certainly a lot of risk with only owning one stock, but I realized the upside potential as well, where you can gain a lot in one day, especially if it's a growth company, instead of owning like 10 to 20 stocks where a few of them can hold down the high growth of some of your better performers. With a single stock portfolio, there's just a lot more potential for growth, but that single stock that you pick has to perform well, or you can end up losing 50% of your portfolio, which that's the risk that I take with a portfolio like this. And keep in mind, anything that I say or have said in this video is not to be considered financial advice. This is simply just me sharing my thoughts and opinions and my mindset and strategies about the stock market and owning Tesla stock. And I certainly want it to be known that investing in a single stock, that's an easy way to lose money fast. It does not always work out well, like in the scenario that it did for me with Tesla stock, but this was just simply a high risk, high conviction strategy in which I chose to put all of my marbles in this company, and it turned out well for me. But that's not always the case, and a lot of money can be lost. So please don't try to copy me. This is not a recommendation to do what I did. This is me just simply sharing my experience and keeping a track record of this progress, because it's interesting to go back and look at my previous videos when this portfolio was much smaller and when I was at around like $50,000, $70,000, $80,000, and to see that it grew this much in 1 year is just really exciting for me, and it gets me excited about the future of my investing career and simply just being involved in the Tesla community as well. And then also the same thing applies for the all-time chart as well, but tomorrow that will change. The all-time chart will be different as of tomorrow, considering that, like I said, I started investing on December 2nd last year, and then tomorrow will be December 3rd. So anyways, with this video, please make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed the transparency and us just simply talking about Tesla stock a little bit. And also feel free to check out my referral links in the description below. You can sign up with my referral link to Robinhood and get a free stock, or you can also use my referral link to Webull to get up to 4 free stocks in total, 2 valued up to $250 just for signing up with my link. And then you can get another 2 free stocks valued up to $1,600 by depositing $100 into your Webull account. And I actually took my $100 out right after I got my free stocks, so it's basically just nice passive income with minimal effort, and it also helps support the channel as well, which I really appreciate. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.